webinar is really about some of the details about your account that might be overlooked, and where those preferences are at, and how to fill out those preferences so that your account performs the way that you want it to perform. It's kind of the devil's in the details, if you will. So we're going to go through some of those account preferences, setting up users, how to create customers, account preferences, and making some decisions on how you want your account to function. Again, thanks everyone for attending. My name is Tiffany Tarr. I'm our Vice President of Sales here at DistributorCentral. My contact information is here on the screen. You can feel free to reach out to me, or feel free to reach out to our support team at info@distributorcentral.com if you have any additional or follow-up questions after today's webinar. This webinar, if you are on today's meeting and you don't yet have a DistributorCentral account, one of the things that you might do is we host webinars all the time on account basics and introductions. And it might be a great place to start by going to distributorcentral.com. And here's the rest of the webinars for this week and beginning of next week. But there's a DistributorCentral introduction webinar that might be a good place to start if you've not ever logged into your DC account. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So once you do have your DC account, and DistributorCentral, just as a baseline, we're a completely free resource for you as a distributor. DistributorCentral will provide you a free account research solution. It will provide you a free way for you to manage your customers and correspondence, and it's a CRM Lite tool, as well as an order processing and order management system. And then DistributorCentral hosts thousands of websites across the industry for distributors, and we do that at no cost for you as a distributor as well. DistributorCentral is not a registrar, so I can't sell you a domain name. However, if you have a domain name or you're going to purchase a domain name, your DistributorCentral account will allow you to host that domain at no monthly hosting cost. So we were not going to really dig into the website pieces of it today. Today, we're really going to focus on just kind of the nitty gritty of your account and making sure it operates the way that you want it to operate. But once you've logged into DC for the first time, or if you've not logged into DistributorCentral in a while, I always have distributors go back and take a look at their account and really take a really hard look at some of the preferences that will have your account perform at its best. And that's not always a decision I can make for a distributor. It's really about how your business and how you want your business and your website to function. So where I would start out is here in the account, your account maintenance. This is a great place to start, because this information here in your account maintenance will actually determine how suppliers can reach out to you if you've got a question, if they've got questions about your order. So making sure that your mailing address and your email address and your company phone number is up to date and accurate is a great place to start. Maybe you've moved in the last couple of years and you've just not updated this area. This account maintenance, you're going to want to come back here and make sure that this is the right information for your company today. Another place that I would take a look at is here in your contacts. So in my demo account here, I'm the only one set up as a contact, which is fine, but maybe there's a different person in my company that handles my billing, or there's a different person in the company that handles artwork. Creating those additional contacts will also help direct suppliers to who they need to reach out to should they have a question. So you can do that by adding additional contacts from your organization here in the contact tab. And you can actually determine or kind of designate their function within the organization. And maybe you have somebody that works remotely, or you don't even want them, you just want to use your main mailing address information, or you've got a sales rep and they work remotely. You can even at the contact level kind of designate where they're located if their address is different from the main address. The next area that we're going to take a closer look at is here in your preferences and account preferences. Account preferences is where you would want to go to start identifying how you want your account to respond to you when any performance is happening. So this is it's just a really good kind of reminder to go back and do you want to receive an email every time a new customer registers at your website? There's going to be some defaults in here, and the default in a standard account is no. But maybe you're getting those and you're like, I don't know why I'm not receiving an email notification when I'm getting a new user at my website. You need to go in and take a look at your preferences and switch that over to tell your account what you want to happen. Same thing with orders. So this is an opportunity for you to create standard or stock information. If you're using DistributorCentral to generate your orders or send orders to your suppliers, or your customers are creating orders on your website, if there's stock language, or if you want your logo to appear on those invoices or those quotes, your preferences is going to be where you can set that information up. So stock language on order confirmations just might be something like a ship date is 3 to 5 days after final artwork approval. Just reminders or automatic sets of information that you need your customers to know that you might be having to repeat to them or send in email format. But when if they're generating those orders or placing an order on your website, you can use your preferences and the stock language to communicate that information as soon as that point of purchase has occurred. Same thing with suppliers. If you've got some standards, or if there are procedures within your company and how you're communicating with suppliers, you can also use this section of your account to generate that stock language or those account procedures back to your suppliers as well. This is also kind of some basic areas on how you're going to start dealing with sales tax. If you're going to be dealing with that at all within your account. Are you a company that does charge sales tax? Do you not charge sales tax because it's going to be shipping in state? So this is where you're going to start that process of making those decisions. And I'll show you in your account in a deeper level where more of that information is located. Also, do you want to show, this is where your users, if you've got multiple account reps and multiple account reps are logging in and placing orders to suppliers, you can control what orders each one of your users, your internal users, is seeing when they log into DC. This is also where you can decide how you're going to accept artwork. Maybe you only want your customers to be able to upload art to the order, and you don't want them to be able to email it in later on or whatever. This is where you will decide how you will accept art from your customers. I don't know if anybody still faxes art or not, but your account is going to come pre-defaulted with these checks. So this is just, you'll want to go back and take a look and see if this still is, if that is something that your company is going to be engaging in. Here's some additional information about tax. And then if there's stock language that you want to send when you're sending order confirmations or artwork, this is where you're going to be able to control that messaging. So there's all kinds of things here in the account preferences that you're going to want to really take a look at and examine how you communicate back to both your customers and suppliers. And there's a question that I'm going to answer real quick. Let me just take a look at this question real fast. Oh, it just went. Well, I'll have to come back to it. It just went away. So I'm gonna have to come back to that question. The next thing I would take a look at is your invoices and make a determination on how you want to receive payment. So this is where you're going to start making that choice. Do you want your invoices that are, if you're going to be using this to send order confirmation or invoices to your customer, do you want them to have a link on that invoice where they can pay you? And this is going to start kind of making those determinations. And then I'll show you in your payment preferences where you can make a decision on what times of payment that you'll accept and how to set that up. And again, just stock language on those invoices. Also with shipping, if there's custom verbiage or communication that you need to communicate about shipping, there's that information. And then also, if you're going to charge freight on all your orders, that's really, I mean, you can make a decision not to charge freight or charge a custom amount of freight. But this is where you're going to start that process of being able to control that. So there's a question that says, how does PayPal work with DC? We're going to dig into your payment preferences as well. DistributorCentral is not a payment gateway. However, you can use your current payment gateway, whether it be PayPal or authorized.net or PayJunction, and I'll show you in your account preferences where you can set that information up and connect those two so that your website will also be able to take payment at point of purchase. There's a question in regards to how can the site be used to generate customer interest. We'll take a look at that. What I'm looking at right now is basically your back-end office. So this is your back-end office that your customers aren't necessarily seeing. It's just setting up how you want to communicate with your customers and how you want to communicate with your suppliers. And a lot of times distributors, the most exciting part about DistributorCentral is probably building a website, and that's all fine and good, but sometimes these details are the things that might get missed. And the details is what will help you streamline your business activity and make sure you're not duplicating efforts over and over and over again. Again, proofs, how you're going to accept proofs, how you want your proofs to be, like the language that you need to communicate to your supplier or your customers and probably your suppliers too, on how you want to manage proofs. So I would really take a look at these preferences, again, under your account and then account preferences, and really walk through each one of these questions and make sure that what is set is really what your business needs to be doing for optimal success. Again, and here's additional payment information. And we're going to take a closer look at the payment setup in another piece of your account maintenance. Also, user preferences. You can make a decision on each one of your users on what levels of access that they actually have from DistributorCentral. So maybe you've got some internal sales reps that you only want them to be able to search for products, or you only want them to be able to perform certain functions. Under your users and then user maintenance, here is where you can create additional users for your company. You can create as many users as you want, and as you add a new user or a new sales rep or someone who processes your orders, all you have to do is give them information, put their information in, and create them a username and password. I like to use their email address. It tends to it is usually just the easiest. Making this up as I go, and you can create a password for them. Once you do that, now your additional user or additional person within your organization has been created. You can start to build user groups. So if you've got standard sets of responsibilities or standard sets of information that you're going to give to multiple people, you can create a user group. You don't have to do that. You could also go here to additional user rights, and every section that's here on the left-hand side of your account is here, and you can go through and make a decision on what pieces of the account you want them to have access to and walk through each one of those. Go back to my preferences. And then same thing with website preferences. Your website preferences are also going to be there where you're kind of telling your website if there's anything that you need it to do, or if there's anything special that is based per website. So for example, I can actually change or control the preferences at each individual website that is set up within your account level. Here's what some of those preferences look like. Do you want to have a search bar? Do you need to send new customer registrations? Do you want to have the order buttons turned on? Sometimes a distributor will want a website that doesn't actually have order processing on it, but they want their customers to still be able to view product. Here is where you can want that order button or that functionality to display on each individual website. Again, with shipping, taxes, catalog, it can all be personalized per each website that you're setting up within your account. I'm just going to pause to see if there's any additional questions. There was a question about users and if they are internal employees and not end user customers. So there's two. It's a twofold. Everything that we're looking at, again, inside of your account is based off of your relationship internally and your relationship with your customer. At the website, anytime one of your customers has placed an order on your website, it will generate them a username and password so that your customer can go back to your website and see order history, or they can see what they've ordered currently, reorder a product, or see status of an order. So at your own personal website level, you can allow your customers to have, but again, like I would go to Target and log into my Target account and see my previous order history or reorder products that I've ordered in the past, it's going to function in that way. There was also a question in regards to giving access to specific customers. You can in your website, and we cover that in more detail in our website tutorials, but your website, each block or there's sections of your website that you can lock down to be password protected, so that customers with those usernames and passwords can see those parts of your website. And when I talk about their website, it's your website. The order history is going to be available to the users that have placed orders on your website, so that they can see all of that information. It's not really any different than, I guess, Amazon, where I go and look at all the things I've ordered in the last 6 months and then use that information to place my reorders. So we'll just keep moving forward here. We do have a relationship with Technologo where there is information on using virtual sampling tools. That's really handled through them, but you can integrate that piece back into your DistributorCentral account. The next thing I want to talk about is your customers. So DistributorCentral will allow you to manage your customer relationships as well here. I'm going to view all of my customers, and I think I just have one. I have one customer here. However, there's some things here that maybe distributors haven't always utilized or may not know are available to you in your account. DistributorCentral does have a CRM Lite tool. I've used it for years. It's great at managing just kind of where you're at with your customers, or even just taking a look at what you've done throughout the day. So for this Jack Sport Shop, which is my only customer that I have here, if I take a look at this customer, I can get all of the information about them, and this is how I can control what website this customer has access to, or what website I always want them to be directed to. I can also kind of track my correspondence or things that I've done with this customer. So it looks like yesterday I called this Jack Sport Shop because they were a referral from a networking group. And I set myself a reminder to follow up with this particular customer here on April the 10th. I can also view my order history at this level per customer. If I wanted to add a new set of correspondence, I can do that. I can actually use this account. If I wanted to type them an email, I could actually use DistributorCentral to generate that email, so that any response or communication that occurs from that email logs itself back in to my DistributorCentral correspondence. I don't have to do that, but it is a functionality that's available. So let's just say I call him back again today. Now I've tried him back again. Maybe I found out that he's on vacation, if I could spell correctly today as well. I can then say, I can record the information that I received when I made that call, and then schedule myself a follow-up to follow up with them in 2 weeks. I can push this follow-up as well to my Outlook calendar. So if I don't want to log back into DC, or if I want to just get a pop-up reminder of everything that I'm supposed to do on April the 16th, I can push it to my Outlook calendar, and my Outlook calendar will now say that I need to do that on April the 16th. But your customer list is a place where you can add all of the customers that you're working with into Distributor Central so that you can manage that. You could also export those account records. If you were managing your accounts here, you could export it into an Excel file and use it in MailChimp or any other marketing devices that you might be using to generate customer engagement. If your customers are creating orders on your websites, or they're going to your websites and they're putting in their shipping address and those kinds of things, it's going to automatically create those customer records for you. But if they're not and you're building them out manually, you'll just go here to your customer record and then add new customers in. If you've got an Excel file or a CSV file of customers and you're wanting to move that into Distributor Central, our team can help import that information as well. I'm going to just check to see if there's any additional questions so far that we need to answer. Here we go. Do you have to enter customers? So there was a question, do you have to enter customers manually, or can we import it? We should be able to import it. Just reach out to info@distributorcentral.com and we'll get back. We'll get you information on what we would need to be able to do that, but usually a CSV or an Excel file should work. There's a question in regards to, so if I make a customer note, I can set that up like an email to yourself. Yes. So if you made yourself a customer note and you wanted to email it to yourself, you could also just put your email address in there as well, and email yourself that customer note. I am recording today's webinar, so I'm going to try to answer everything about the account preferences and setting up for success. But we are recording today's webinar, and I'll make sure that everybody that attends gets a copy of it. These are the things that I get really excited about. As a vice president of the sales team, I manage our sales team, and I love to manage things at this kind of a level. I love to be able to record all activity that happened with the customer and watch the progression of a sale move forward. And so these are the things that I get excited about, and I just want to make sure that distributors know that these tools are available to you within your account, and everything within the account is free to you as a distributor. So there was a question in regards to creating a customer on the fly. Yes, you can create a customer on the fly. So where you would do that is, let's just say that you are building out a quote for a customer, and you've logged into Distributor Central and you just know that they need some tumblers, and you've started building or started doing that product research, and you've totally forgotten that they're not yet a customer. We're just really excited that we've got this opportunity, and you've started. I'm gonna clear my list and build a new one. You've started doing a search for tumblers that you want to send over to them. So you start pulling a bunch of those, and now you've got them in your idea board. So, and if they're not yet a customer, when you go to this create quote, it's going to start pulling all of this stuff together so that you can make a decision on, are you marking the product pricing up or down? Are you charging freight? Do they really only need the minimum quantity, or are they looking for more? And I'm just gonna hit create quote from here. And I don't have anything here in the prepared for. So I can look up a customer from here. And if I don't have a customer on the fly, I can click add new customer, put that information in. And once I've done it here, it will build it back into my customer contact records as well. I'm going to back up, and I'm not going to take the time to do that. But I am going to show you one more thing that I like, well, let me go back to this since I'm stuck now in this old order. But one of the things that I like to do is I like to run reporting. And I like to take a look at everything that's happened, or why a sale didn't move forward, or if there's things that I've talked to customers about that they've not followed up on yet, or maybe they didn't order a product. I like to be able to report back on that. If you're using DistributorCentral for quotes and presentations, one of the things that you can do, I'm going to pick a customer that I already have set up, and I have one. Once I walk through building a quote, and if I can change, when I'm building out the quote for a customer, I can change all of these details. The information that's going to pull in initially is going to be the stock information from the supplier, but maybe I don't necessarily need them to see all of this. I'm just going to take it all out. I just really wanted to see how cool this product is, and I've got my own description about how they can use it for an event. So I can change all those things. I can change the image and upload an image maybe I created with my customer's logo on it. I can remove the stock language and add a new one, or I can leave the stock image there. I can make some decisions on each one of these products that I'm going to send over to them as a quote. Maybe I'm not going to charge them $29.14. I'm going to charge them $28.50. I can make changes to the pricing or the setup, or I can also create additional options. Maybe my company is going to bring this product in and I'm going to kit it, or I'm going to do something special to it. I can add a custom option here that might be outside of what the supplier does traditionally in manufacturing, so that my customer can see that information on the same quote. I don't have to send that separate. But I can walk through each one of these items that I want my customer to get more information on. And once I've done this and I've finished my quote is actually going to generate a quote number. And now I can report back on this. Internally, I can use my reporting tools to report back on all quotes. Once I've done that, I can view it as a PDF, send it over to my customer for viewing. I could email it to my customer, whatever I need to do to get all this pricing and product information over. But let's just say that my customer called back and they're like, hey, Tiffany, I've got that quote. It was quote number 206180. I can go back and pull that quote, and I can, from there, without having to do more work, I can convert this to an order. But let's just say the customer is not going to order all 10 of the best things that I sent over to them. I can remove products from the quote that they're not going to move forward with. Maybe they were just going to move forward with a couple of products. I can just take that quote that I'd sent over, and I can just, without doing a bunch more work, I can convert it to an order and then send my order over to the supplier for manufacturing. I can also use the report tools inside of my DistributorCentral account. If I want to go and pull a report on all the quotes that have been sent in the last 6 months by all users within my account, once it generates that quote number, I can go back and see all of those quotes that have been created, and I can see where they're at in status. Were they ever really even sent to the customer? Did they turn into an order? What have you? You can see it here through reporting. You can also see it through, you can see quotes to customers, and there's a portal that will let you go back. And I didn't actually save that. So let me just see if I can pull back the last 30 days and see quotes that were sent to customers over a specific time frame and see what's going on with them. Now, I haven't sent any of my quotes, but I could since I've never sent any of these quotes to a customer, I could send it over to a customer. Maybe I started it in the morning and I wasn't quite ready to send it and I wasn't done with it, but now I am. Now I can send all the quotes that I created for the day. So I really wanted to keep this webinar to right about a half an hour. The things that we've talked about is your account preferences, setting up users Every user within your organization can have their own user name and password. You as the owner of the account or as the owner of your distributor company, you can make rights or limitations to what access each one of those users has the ability to use or not use from the account. We've also talked about creating customers and how to manage customers. You can use DistributorCentral as a CRM solution to manage your relationship or the correspondence that you've got or that's happening with your customers. And you can also use it as a way to kind of manage or track any quotes and orders at each individual contact level. So there was a question, once I send a quote and the customer approves it, is it electronically received by the vendor? No, you are going to get that information in your account first. And the reason for that is because there might just be something else that you need to do. Maybe you need, the artwork wasn't quite right, or you need to get more information from your customer. That's all going to come to you, and then you need to make a decision on how you're going to communicate that order to your vendor or your supplier for manufacturing. And one of the things we really didn't get into, and I said that we would, so I'm going to dig into this real quickly, is payments. And I'm going to go up to account, and then payment, and payment setup. I'm going to start here. So this is where you're going to start to manage your payment setup. Again, account, payment, payment setup. And this is going to be how you can decide what forms of payment that you want to accept from your customers. And what you would need to do to make that live or make that reflect to the customer on invoices or websites or what have you, is you would just need to move this over to the next side. So I'm going to accept credit cards. The next thing I would need to do is make a decision on what forms of credit cards I'll actually accept. So it's kind of a two-part deal. So you'll need to decide what gateway you're using and then what forms of payment that you're going to need. In your account, under this payment area, at the top, there's a merchant setup button. This merchant setup button is going to give you all of the information that you need to have on setting up your gateway. And this is really, it's really personal to each distributor and each distributor company on how you want to configure the account. Do you want it to settle? Do you want to manually process them? But it will allow your website to take forms of payment that you've decided are available through your organization, and this merchant information help guide will walk you through all the steps to set your merchant account information up. Let me see if there's any other questions that I can answer. So I do have a question in regards to preferred vendors. There's a question in regards to, can you see your preferred vendors? The answer is yes, and I can send out some information on how to get your preferred vendors either on your website so that your customers are only seeing your preferred vendors, and within your account as well. And there are additional training videos. One of the best places to go for additional help and support is under help.distributorcentral.com. Our team has done a really great job of breaking down each aspect of Distributor Central and creating help guides and videos that are just like 1 or 2 or 3 minutes long, where you can get, and you can even use this search bar to type in anything and it'll pull back any reference information to anything that you're struggling with in Distributor Central, or things that you're not necessarily struggling with, but anything that you're wanting to take a closer look at on how that could work for your company. Another place we could get additional help is our webinars. There's a webinar later on this afternoon on just kind of the same thing. Great, I have a Distributor Central website, now what? Account preferences, more information on how to make your website perform the best for you. And then on Friday, I've kind of just left my Friday afternoon open, and I'm going to have an open webinar where if something I said today sparks an interest, or you've got more questions, and you want to kind of just attend Friday's webinar, I'm just going to answer live questions that come in that day. And it's also a good way for us to determine what additional types of webinars we need to be scheduling, or what additional help guides that we need to add more information in. I do have a question in regards to QuickBooks and that integration. You can use DistributorCentral. You can export reporting information from DC back to your QuickBooks account. Inside of your DistributorCentral account, and I think I closed it, inside of your DistributorCentral account, there is a little link that says your QuickBooks export file. And I'm not even close to being an expert or an accounting professional. So if you need more information, let us know. But that QuickBooks export file will pull back order data that you can send over to your QuickBooks for your accounting package. There was a question in regards to using the CRM for things outside of maybe the promotional products industry. Maybe you're a print shop. Your account is your account, and your customers are your customers. So there's not really any reason why you couldn't still manage your correspondence and what you're doing and how you're communicating with all of your customers. So there's really not, there's no limit there. There's a question in regards to also adjusting margin and calculations. Yes, as soon as you've created an order or a quote, all that information just kind of goes out the window necessarily. You can adjust it at the quote level. Also, if you wanted to do a quick quote, so you're just taking some basic information. I'll show you real quickly. You're just taking some basic information. You don't need your customer to necessarily get a full quote with really custom pricing. Another thing that you can do is send them a quick quote that'll let you mark your margins up or down. So before I get to the full-blown quote where I can adjust descriptions and images, I could just send this information to a customer and say that I want to mark everything down or up. So I'm going to mark everything down from the retail. I sell everything at 20% less retail. I can control that information here. There's a question also in regards to, can you adjust the pricing itself? Yeah, on the website, same type of a thing. You could tell your website, I want to mark everything up, or I want to mark everything down based off this percentage. That's the simplest way to handle it. Beyond that, you can also copy supplier products over to your account and make some adjustments there. DistributorCentral in the latter part of this year is coming out with a more robust way for distributors to be able to customize products a little bit further, even from the supplier's stock product data, in a way that won't jeopardize the base of the product long term. So there's more tools coming out here in the second half of the year in relation to that. But as of this moment, you can tell your website to mark it up or down, or copy the product over and make hard adjustments to the product for your own personal website. There was another question in regards to groups on pricing. I'm going to have to take a look at that, and I'll respond directly in regards to that answer. There was also a question about, can you build a custom showroom on your website? You can certainly do that. You could build a specific site for a customer, or you could build sections on your website that are really about your favorite products or products for specific industries. And we highly encourage that. You can also, in your website, and I'm not going to get all the way into website tools, but in your website manager, it's sample templates. There's all these templates from DistributorCentral that you could use to quickly get a website up and going. One of my favorite ones right now is creating customer presentations. It's such an easy way to take a grouping of products, pin them down to your idea board, and then create your customer their own presentation website that they can keep going back and referencing, and you can keep adding more products to it. There's a training session on our website now about customer presentation sites, or I can send out some directions on that. I can show you like a little example of one that I created in one of our last sessions. So it's just a really easy way. I can just take my customer's logo, pop it on the website, and then start building out different catalogs of product ideas that might work for them, work for them well in the future or right now, or I put together some work at home ideas, and I can send out some directions on how to do that. So there's not a fee for, there was a question in regards to fee for setting up a website. There's not one. Distributor Central is a completely free resource. We'll host the domain name at no cost. You can use one of the templates and use the website wizard to create yourself a website. If you don't feel comfortable with that, we also have a program in place where we can send you some templates and we can pop your logo onto one of those templates to get you started. But Distributor Central's website platform and our website hosting, all of that's done and sponsored by suppliers that are listing products on Distributor Central. And so there's no cost to you as a distributor. We view it the same as catalogs or looking at suppliers' websites. A supplier would never charge you to look at their products on their website, and a supplier would never charge you to look at a paper catalog. So we view the product information in the same manner. Distributor Central is just another place from another technology tool that you can use to repurpose that supplier product information to sell more products. I really appreciate everybody attending today's webinar. Again, we did record today's session, and I'll make sure to send this out to everyone that attended. I will go back through and make sure that I answered all the questions that came in today. If you have another question, or if you need additional information, or you don't have a Distributor Central account yet, feel free to reach out to me. My email address is ttar@distributorcentral.com, or you can reach out to our support team at info@distributorcentral.com. And we'll make sure that you have an account, you have guides on how to do some of these things. Or if there's specific parts of the account that you need more information on, we'll make sure to break those guides out and send those over to you as well. But I really appreciate everyone taking the time to listen in today. We really are here just to support distributors and give you a place where at no cost you can use technology to get more product information in front of your customers in a more efficient manner. So I hope today was helpful, and let us know if there's anything else we can do.